All right. So who wants to host a FLUX node? All right. There's 3 different nodes that you can host. I'm going to be hosting the STRATUS, which is the 40,000 collateral one. All right. There's the Nimbus, and then there's the Cumulus. The Cumulus is the one that only needs 1,000 tokens. That's probably the one that you're going to be hosting. So the main key difference is that the Cumulus and the Nimbus do not receive Cadena reward. If you have the STRATUS, it does. So that is the main difference. So there's going to be a couple of things in here that, and I'll tell you, that may not apply to you. But other than that, just strap in, because this whole process, even though this video will be shorter than that, it'll take about an hour, and I'll show you that. So anyways, let's get right into it. So the first thing you're going to have to do is get your FLUX right from the exchange over to your wallet, right? Go buy your FLUX, however much you need, and then get it over to your wallet. And what you'll need to do is go to your portfolio, click on it. Here's your FLUX wallet address. Okay. Now, then you will click receive. Here's your address. Now make sure that you send your FLUX to this address. Now, if you are hooking up a STRATUS node, make sure you have the right requirements for all of your hardware, right? And if you're using a VPS, even better. But it's very hard to find a VPS service. So make sure you go to the FLUX website and in their Discord and on their Facebook page. And they actually have this thing that will tell you what services you can use, because for STRATUS, very hard to find those, but for Cumulus and Nimbus, no problem. Now, if you are doing a STRATUS, here's the one thing that I want to show you. When you transfer your tokens over, what you're going to need to do, go to your portfolio, okay? And then go to that wallet, okay? So go to your mining wallet, which is the one that you'll be transferring all this stuff into. You can pick any wallet you want. You can run multiple nodes from the same wallet. And then make sure you manage assets, click add assets, and then you'll see Cadena up here, and make sure you add Cadena, because you will need that wallet address. And the way you find that wallet address is right here. And you got to make sure you click on Cadena, click receive, and use the K address. Do not use this public key, use the K address, because you won't receive your rewards if you use the other one. All right. Now, first things first, take it, get it into your portfolio, right? Get it into your payments tab. Then when you get done with payments and you've got all of your stuff in there, if you're only running one node, it's not going to matter. But if you're running multiple nodes, this will matter. Go into your wallet and click right here, and then click send. And then you will come over here and you will click the contact wallet you want it to go into. So I choose mining. It's the easiest one. Just use it. So then you click mining. And if you're doing a Cumulus, then you'll do the 1,000. If you're doing a Nimbus, then you'll do the 10,000 or whatever it is. I don't remember what it is. And then if you're doing STRATUS, you do 40,000 exactly. Do not transfer more or less in. It has to be the exact amount. Now, when you click transfer, right, you send it. Then you will have to go, and it'll tell you when it's, whenever it's done. Then you will go to your mining wallet, and you'll see 40,000 or 1,000, whatever it is that you have to transfer in. And then once this says locked in FLUX nodes, it'll say like your 1,000, say you're doing a Cumulus, right? And it'll say 1,000 locked in FLUX nodes. That means that it has collateralized your asset. So, and the way that you can check on that, because if you're running multiple nodes, you have to do this, and you got to make sure that your node is in there. Go to your apps and then go to FLUX nodes, and then it'll tell you once your node pops up here and says like Cumulus, then you know it's good and you can do another transfer. So that's how you get them into your wallet, to get them staked, right? So that you can actually, host this node. Now, with that being said, before you go to host this node, all right, you have to make sure that your node, once it's configured, once it's in here, that it has at least 100 block transactions, okay? So for me, this one's already confirmed. This one's already hosted. So we're going to be hosting this one next. It has 519 transactions or confirmations. This could take anywhere from 24 to 48 hours for it to get 100 confirmations. So just make sure that you're ready for that, and that you're taking that into account when you're, getting ready to host this node, because at the end of the day, if you go to try to host this, it's not going to work. So now, you're going to need this type of information. So the way that you get that information is by getting these 100 confirmations, and then you come down here inside of your apps, you go to nodes, right? Your FLUX nodes, and then you click on this, and then you figure out, okay, my FLUX node identity key, right? You click edit. The next thing you'll have to do is go into Putty, all right? And so make sure you download the correct PuTTY. All right. And then I'm going to show you how to host this node now. All right. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go to this selection thing and make sure you put Windows here, because this is how you're going to be able to paste things in here easier. You're going to right click and then click paste. So it makes your life a lot easier by being able to do this. Then you're going to log in with your IP address, and your VPS service will give this to you, or you can find your IP. If you're running it from your own hardware, you can find it in your systems, right? So for me, I'm going to go ahead and log into this really quick, and then you guys will see what I'm talking about. Also, the other thing is make sure you have this Medium article pulled up, because it's going to be your best resource. Okay, so now once you're logged into PuTTY, then you click this accept button. And then for me, it's probably going to, for you, it's going to be root if you're using a VPS service. And if you haven't already configured all of this stuff, I've already configured all of this stuff, and, you know, we'll go after, you don't have to do any of that stuff. So for me, it's FLUX user, and then I'm going to enter, and then you go get your password, and your username and your password will be sent to you by your VPS provider or whatever it is that you set up, right? And the way that you can do all that is go through all these first steps, and it'll show you how to set all that stuff up. So we're going to start at step 17, and we're actually going to skip that step because I already have that done. But, you know, be that as it is here, that's how you do it, right? So now I'm going to get my password really quick and put it in. Okay, so I have my password. Boom. All right, cool. So make sure you're in the right port too. So, you know, some people's are port 22, mine is port 2223. All right, so that's something that right when you're setting up PuTTY, it'll ask you what your port is right next to your IP address. Make sure it's the right port that you're using. Okay, so now the first thing you're going to do is, if you haven't done the Docker install, it's going to be the same thing, but you're going to paste in this command and then let it run. And then you're going to paste in this command, let it run, right? Okay. And then you're going to paste in this command right here to get the actual stuff started. Okay. So again, right click, paste, enter. So if you have not set up the Docker, then for here, you will press 1. For me, I've already set up the Docker, so I'm going to install my FLUX node. So I'm pressing 2. So I'm skipping this step right here. All right. Now I'm going straight to step 18, which is the FLUX install with execution. Okay, so if you get that sudo app or sudo password for FLUX user, just insert your password again, all right, that your VPS provider gave you, and then it's going to start installing all of this stuff. Now it's starting to do everything that it needs to do, and, you know, we're going to let this run, and then we'll talk, you know, in the interim, but essentially, see what I'm saying, how my port is 2223, then it's got my IP address here detected. If you're seeing these green little check mark thingies, that means that everything is running and it's running properly. Okay, so that's the main thing that you want to do. Now, with that being said, before you go to host this node, all right, you have to make sure that your node, once it's configured, once it's in here, that it has at least 100 block transactions. Okay, so for me, this one's already confirmed. This one's already hosted. So we're going to be hosting this one next. It has 519 transactions or confirmations. This could take anywhere from 24 to 48 hours for it to get 100 confirmations. So just make sure that you're ready for that, and that you're taking that into account when you're, you know, getting ready to host this node, because at the end of the day, if you go to try to host this, it's not going to work. So now you're going to need these types of, you know, this type of information. So the way that you get that information is by getting these 100 confirmations, and then you come down here inside of your apps, you go to nodes, right? Your FLUX nodes, and then you click on this, and then you figure out, okay, my FLUX node identity key, right? You click edit, and it'll tell you your identity key. So just copy it, all right? And then paste it, all right? And then just click OK, enter. All right, cool. Now your transaction ID is the thing right under that. All right. So click that, paste it in here. Boom, done. All right. So ours is 0. The output index is 0. So click enter. Bam. Now we are literally cooking with jet fuel. All right. So the Zelcore ID, this is where you get the Zelcore. Go to your apps, go to your Zel ID, click either this or click this. Now take it back into here and paste it in. Zelcore ID, bam. Node tier eligible for Cadena rewards. Okay, this is only for Stratuses. So if you're not hosting a Stratus node, the 40K, then you're not going to see this most likely. So this, you probably won't even have to worry about this step. But what I have to do is go back into my portfolio, go to mining, hit my Cadena, hit receive. All right. And then make sure you're getting the right address, the K, the one that starts with K, paste it in, boom. And all of this is in that Medium article that I was just showing you. Like, it's literally going to show you all this stuff. So we're already past all of this right here. And now we're going to be doing all this bootstrapping and stuff like that here in just a second. So this is installing. This will take a while. And like I said, when you get these green check marks, that means you're doing good. So your IP is good. Your Zell key is good. Cadena address is good. Flux bench, Flux CLI, the Flux D. All of this stuff is good. So now it's installing the ZK Snark pair, whatever that is. I don't know, something like that. And then your next step will come up and it'll be this download from source build in script. So unless you're a gangster and you've built your own source, then you just press OK here and you download it from the source built in, right? So that's exactly what we're going to do. Click enter, boom, done. Now this thing is going to run for probably 15 minutes, anywhere from depending on your internet access, it's going to run for a while. So I have fiber optic cable. So I have the fastest internet known to man. And it still takes my stuff 10 to 15 minutes for it to do this bootstrap thing. And then there will be a secondary one that pops up right after that. That'll probably take another 5 minutes. So anyways, at the end of this, once this thing is hosted, I'll show you how long this actually took, because the video won't be that long, but we're going to pause this until this gets done. And then I'll show you the next step of what's going to pop up. So this thing will be done. And then there will be another little thing that pops up that has to go through 100% thing and blah, blah, blah. So we'll get to that in just a second. Okay, so this thing is now done. It took literally almost 8 minutes, and now it's unpacking it. All right, so it downloaded it. Now it has to unpack it, and this one usually takes about half the time. So just, you're in it for the long haul, guys. Just be patient with it. Let it do its thing. Do not click anything. Do not press any buttons. Don't do any of that stuff. All right, just leave it be and walk away. Go smoke a cigar. Go get a drink. Go do your laundry. I'm literally doing my laundry right now, actually. And I'm doing some other stuff on my other computer. So just forget about it until it gets done, but just know it's going to take a few minutes. So I'll check back with you when this thing's almost done right here. Okay, so as you can see, this one's been running for about 4 minutes, and this one ran for about 8 minutes. I've seen this one up here with my fast internet still run for 15 to 17 minutes before. So it just takes some time, guys. And then this one is about 4.5 minutes. So you're talking maybe 5 minutes for this next one to run. And then you're about to see what happens after this, because we are moving on to the next step. So hopefully you enjoyed your cigar and toasting to your passive income that's coming in after you get this hosted, because it is about halfway done. Honestly, I think it's more than halfway done, to be real with you. Now it's just really, you just let Putty do what Putty does, and you let the script do what the script does. And this isn't coding, guys. I just want to clarify that you are not coding. You're literally inserting pre-selected commands into a computer program like Putty or on Ubuntu or whatever it may be. So this is not something that should be out of your realm if you spend the time. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. While this thing's running, let's talk a little bit, right? Let's get some banter going. So I run Wolfer Finance, right? Obviously, we have 8 nodes that we're trying to get hosted, 8 different STRATUS nodes, and, among others. Now, I have hosted Flux nodes before, right? And I have hosted SRX nodes, all types of stuff, right? I have a Gala node, all that good stuff. See, green check mark, that's good stuff. You don't want these red check marks, all right? So there's some extra steps that we'll go through. And the reason I'm doing it is because I set it up as a business, and we want to know the things that are happening. So anyways, check mark, good. Now, with that being said, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm a genius, because I'm not. I'm just a guy, right? I'm no different than anyone else. I bleed the same blood as everybody. So I don't want to act like I'm infallible. I don't know any more than the lay person. But with that being said, I don't mind going out and learning it. How long did it take me to learn how to do a Flux install, and how many times? Because you're seeing a polished video, right? Okay. So this might only take an hour. And for all 8 of our nodes cumulatively to actually host it perfectly, it might take 8 hours, right? But how long did it take you to learn that? Man, somewhere in the 8 to 15 hour range. You got to read a lot of tutorials. You got to go through the Medium article. You got to make sure that you understand what's going on. You got to download the softwares. You got to find the hardwares. This thing is crazy. Okay. Really quick. I'm going to interject. This thing right here is crazy. It's going to do this for a while. It's going to throw you for a loop. You're going to be like, what is going on? As long as these red things are going crazy, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. This will happen. This 5-minute thing that it says right here, it is not 5 minutes. It'll be like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe sometimes. So it just depends. Now, with that being said, no one sees the behind the scenes aspects of how long did it take to learn how to do this? How many tries did it take you, right? Because when I was hosting my first Flux node, man, it took me like 6 tries easily. And I kept messing up and I kept getting this same, error message. So it was saying like, hey, do you want to import your stuff that you did previously? So if you've already tried to host this node and say your server blanked out on you and you had to start it over again, but you'd already imported all of your stuff before you got all of the information from the Flux node thing, when you get your 100 confirmations, then you have to have that information. So you'll have to press no, and then you'll have to re-input all of that information. So that's probably not something you're going to have to run into, but if it is, just know that that's what it was. So with that being said, it could take multiple tries, dozens of hours to learn this, but once you learn it, you're good. So just take that into account, and I will, check back with you here in a minute. Okay. So as I said, it just takes forever. So getting info, check mark, Flux daemon installed, check mark, Flux benchmark v3.2, check mark. We're good to go. So now the PM2 is installing, and just let it run. Don't touch anything. Don't hit any keys. Just be cool. Be cool. All right. So we've got movement configuring. All right. V5.2 installed. We've got log rates going, all this stuff, log rotate, my bad. All this stuff is configuring. So we're looking good. We're looking extremely good. Okay. So whenever all of this stuff starts happening right here, that's when you're on to the next thing. Now you've got your 16 connections. You've got your green check mark here. That's good. You can see that stuff's happening right here. Okay. In number 22 of the actual Medium article. All right. So now it's installing the watchdog, downloading all that. Now, would you like to enable auto update? You can click no if you don't want to. I would click yes. All right. Boom. Now, alert notification. You do not have to do this, but I would like to be alerted if my node goes offline. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to click yes. Then it is going to tell you, like how you can select stuff and stuff like that. So to select/deselect the item, press space. To switch to OK/cancel, use tab. So that's telling you how to navigate this. All right. So just click OK. Now, I want a Discord notification. If you want Telegram, that's cool, but I'm using Discord. Enter your Discord server webhook URL. Okay. So I'm going to get that really quick. Now, I did that. Okay. And if you don't know how to get that URL, just Google it. Just say, hey, how do I find my Discord server URL? If you don't own a Discord server, then there's nothing you can do about it. Now it's going to ask you, do you want to do nick ping on Discord? That's basically, you're going to create a channel in your Discord, and you can do this yourself. Like anybody can create a Discord server. So I would suggest doing it. So would you like to enable ping on Discord? Absolutely. Yes, I do. So then it's going to ask you after that, enter your Discord user ID. And again, if you don't know how to find that, just Google it. It'll show you a tutorial on how to do it. And I might drop the link in the description. So now again, what you're doing is it's going to notify you inside of your Discord server. There's going to be a little bot, and you're going to hook up a webhook so that it knows how to do it. And you plug it into a channel, and then it'll tell you if any of your nodes go down. So for this one, this will be our 3rd Flux node. So I'm going to enter my node alias as Flux STRATUS 3. Okay. Node username valid, node name valid, watchdog installed. Okay. Finalizing this, be patient. And again, we'll check back with this here in just a second. Now, while we're waiting, I went ahead and did this for you. All right. So the way that you find and make a webhook is right here, support Discord, blah, 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 right? This is going to show you how to make a webhook inside of your server. That way you can hook your Flux node up to it and it can notify you and, you know, tell you if it's gone down or something and blah, blah, blah. So this is how you do that. All right. And then this is how you find your Discord server ID, or not your server ID, but your actual Discord ID, because it's like a number. It's a bunch of numbers. You can't just type in like Drew number 1205 or whatever. So just keep that in mind. That's how you find that. Now, this is what that's going to look like. Now, I hide this from everybody because nobody really needs to be alerted but me, because I'm going to be the one that, you know, rehosts the node, if whatever. So anyways, this is the alert you'll get once your node is actually set up, and it'll say, you know, your node expired. Don't worry about that. That doesn't mean anything. That it's just not, it just hasn't gone up yet. That's all that means. But this is what it will look like. And I would suggest making like your own channel for it. Like we have our own channel for it. I made it private, blah, blah, blah. And that's exactly what it'll look like. So if your node goes down, it'll ping you in here and it'll tag you and say, hey, man, come rehost this bad boy. Okay, so this finalizing Flux installation process, that we have a green check mark. So we are all systems go so far. Now it is restarting the benchmark. This will take just a few minutes. Okay, so that probably took about 5 minutes. I don't know. We'll see at the end of this thing in the little putty box. It'll tell us how long this took. And then I'll show you the next steps. So we're literally almost there. Like there's only like a few other things to do. Once this restarting benchmark thing is done, we're almost there. So I will check back once it is there. Again, one quick thing. Don't click anything. Don't press any buttons. If these little red dots are still spinning, your server is still working. So just be cool. Everybody be cool. Okay, so the Flux node is done, and I want to show you just real quick in the Discord. Then it'll say benchmark fixed. So what that means is you'll get this screen, okay? And I'll go through it with you. But you can see, like, our screen matches it exactly, right? So it's like, you know, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, check all of this stuff, and it'll tell you, basically, see, this took 40 minutes. And you're like, oh, Drew, well, why are you saying it takes, you know, an hour or more? Well, factor in what we're about to do next. Okay. It's a lot of waiting. And then factor in that I already had the Docker installed. So that's going to take at least 10 to 15 minutes by itself. So, you know, you could wrap up an hour, hour and a half in this thing, not even accounting for learning how to do this. Right. So now what you want to do next is make sure everything is good. Okay. So you test the benchmark pass fail, and then you just hit it with this Flux benchmark / get benchmarks. Okay. And then you just come in here and you paste that in here, paste. Since you've verified that all this stuff on the screen right here, all this is good, press enter, boom. And then it'll tell you, so you can see this is our STRATUS, okay? Now, what you want to do is just go up and just make sure that this kind of matches, and, you know, make sure you verify your IP address, all that good stuff, right? If your benchmark didn't pass, it'll say failed. Ours does not say failed. Ours is all good. And don't worry about this little error thing. It's supposed to say that. That means that there's no error. Okay. So if you have to restart the benchmarks, here's the code in order to do that. Now, your final checklist: verify your IP address, verify the private key, confirm that you've got 100 block confirmations, verify the transparent address, verify that the benchmarks passed, failed. We have all of that. Okay. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you have to go into the Zelcore wallet, and I'll show you here in just a second. Now, you're going to press edit, and then you're going to insert your IP address. Okay. Okay. So Flux node 3. And then you're going to insert your IP address. So I'm going to grab that really quick. Now, again, pop this up, pop up putty, and make sure that it's the same IP address that you put in here. Okay. Now what you're going to do is click save. Then you are going to click start. That is going to start your Flux node. So click start again. Once you get through your first block confirmation, it will tell you, it will change the status to started, okay, instead of starting. Then once you get through the next 1 through 10 blocks after that, which will take, you know, anywhere from 2 to 20 minutes. This one will only take a couple of minutes, right? And then it'll get to confirm status, and then your Flux node will be on there. Okay. So I'm going to show you the Medium article where it says that, right? Now go ahead and click, you know, obviously do this edit button, because they don't tell you to do that. But then once you do those two things, insert your IP address, insert your Flux node name, then you click start your Flux node. As you can see, starting after some time, it will change to confirmed. Then your Flux node will look like what I'm about to show you once we get to it, right? So, and then this just shows you how to delete your Flux node and release the collateral, or, you know, if you have to rehost it or anything like that. And then this is just showing you, hey, make sure you back up your private keys, do everything that you're supposed to do, right? As a crypto enthusiast, right? So with that being said, this thing will just keep spinning for a while. So I'm going to update you whenever it says started, and then I'll update you again once it says completed. And then I'll show you what it looks like once it's completed. And then you now have a Flux node, and I have STRATUSes. I know that. I get that. But it is the same process for Cumulus, and it is the same process for Nimbus. So let's get it. Bam, Flux node to started state. My boy, my girl, whatever, whoever's watching, that is good stuff right here. All right, so your Flux node has changed to started state. Now we are just waiting for blocks 1 through 10. Once it gets past the 10th block, it'll get confirmed. That's beautiful. Don't touch anything. If this thing is still spinning, this thing right here, it's working. Don't touch anything. Don't click anything. Don't press no buttons. Leave it alone. Tie yourself up. I don't know how kinky you are, but have your wife, have your husband, somebody tie you up. Go over there, right? Leave it alone. Let it do what it's supposed to do. And I'll show you what it looks like here in just a second. And then we are done. This is the last step. Okay, so if you see this, Flux node's not confirmed, do not freak out. Nothing has happened. It is still spinning. Like I said, if that bad boy is spinning, you're good to go. It's like a DJ, right? You know, if the music's still playing, everybody's still dancing. So keep dancing. Don't touch nothing. Don't do nothing. And you'll see what it looks like here in just a second. You'll get another little pop-up that says, hey, your Flux node is confirmed, right? And if you see this happening, again, don't do nothing. Just sit there, watch it. You don't even have to watch it. Go do some laundry. And you know, check back here in a minute, because it'll get confirmed here in just a second. And I don't know, I'm not going to be able to time how long. And if you get that, you know, error or whatever, just let it keep running. Again, guys, don't freak out. You know, when this thing gets done, it gets done. So just let it keep doing what it's doing, and, you know, leave it alone. So, but if you want to know how long this took, just like, I don't know, check timestamp from when I started doing this, and then you'll see how many minutes this took. But this is actually a pretty good tutorial video. If you just follow it step by step, you should be good to go. And then, like I said, get on that Medium article. And if you want to do the extra steps with the Discord, stuff like that, woo, great, beautiful. It's not the hardest thing in the world, but it's not the easiest thing in the world either. So just don't get frustrated, because it will host. So anyways, let's check back whenever this thing is done. Oh, I was just doing stuff, and apparently we're confirmed. So check timestamp, probably, I don't know, 10, 12 minutes, something like that. Let's go ahead and close this. We should have gotten a notification here, but anyways, this thing is done. Close. Boom. Let's make sure that this thing is confirmed. Bam. We got a Flux node. All right. I'm going to run. I got to go eat some pizza with my wife. I got like 6 more nodes to host. This one, the server's not cooperating. We'll get to you in a second. But yeah, we got more nodes to host. We got pizza to eat. Everybody have a good day. I appreciate you showing up. Hopefully this was informational. It was very highly requested. If you liked this content, make sure you smash that like button for me. Seriously, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give me 1 second. Boom! Bang on that notification bell and comment anything you want in the relevant sections. I will see you in the next video. We'll probably do an SRX one, maybe a pocket network. Thank you so much for showing up. Have a good day, everyone.